So if I can direct your attention to our bulletin cover photo and insert inside as well. So these are the recent photos I took of the sunset images at English Bay Beach. Aren't they beautiful? So, wow, isn't it? Especially the one inside the bulletin cover with a seagull on it. What a timing, what a skill, right? Capture that moment when a seagull was flying right in front of you, and perfect timing, perfect pose, perfectly captured. I mean, I think it's more like a National Geographic kind of magazine kind of quality photo, capture that still photo, right? That's kind of wow. But as much as I want to give credit to myself, this photo was in fact a mistake. It was an accident, actually. I just aimed my phone at the sunset and randomly taking photos, and this seagull just happened to fly by right in front of me as I was taking photos. And I didn't even realize I took this image until a little bit later when I checked my photos, and I was like, wow, I did that? What happened? Sort of more impressed with my timing and my skill than image itself. Wow, Richard, you're good. But really, honestly, all by accident. I mistake, right? It's like you hit a golf ball and you get a hole in one. Wow. But honestly, it's a mistake, isn't it? So back to the photos. These are what I would describe as wow images, wow moments. These images of sunset. In fact, I get to watch this almost every day and get this wow kind of moment every time. Did I say that the English Bay Beach has one of the most beautiful and wonderful sunset images, sceneries in Vancouver? I often just sit by the beach watching the sun goes down over the western sky into a far horizon where the sky and sea meet. Totally immersing myself watching the changing colors of western sky as the sun touches down into the sea, from brilliant yellow to flaming red, and then into a wondrous orange color, and then gradually changing into a mystical gray and the stillness of dark invades the whole area. Wow. Watching sunset at English Bay Beach has become my daily routine, become my more of ritual, sacred ritual. And it's very hard to describe how I feel when I'm there. This might sound a little bit cliche, but I feel as if I am like what New Age gurus like to say, one with universe. Sort of this deepening, broadening sense that everything about me and around me seems to just fade, and I have this kind of mystical, kind of an altered state of existence, to totally enveloped in the presence of holy in that moment. Moses had a transcendental moment when he was on that mountain in the presence of holy in burning tree. Remember that passage, folks? God said to Moses, Moses, where you are standing is a holy ground. Take off your shoes and take off your sandals. So Moses took off his sandals and prostrated face down. I have my burning tree moment when I watch sunset at English Bay Beach, and I take off my sandals in the presence of all. So are you watching sunrise or sunset every day? So we're on the third part of our series on the talk entitled as By Wellness Habits, a Road to Personal Wholeness and Well-Being. And I talked about the habits of last two Sundays, Start Letting Go, and the last Sunday was on, what's the title, was it? Admitting that you're lost, right? Admitting that you're lost. As first steps in the path toward our personal wholeness, to achieve a state of well-being, to be a better person and leading a better life. Now, as you all know, that it's all about journey thing, right? So it's not about reaching a destination, right? That it's about continuous process of being and becoming. So when I say achieving a state of wholeness, I don't mean reaching a final destination and then there we're done with it. That's not what I mean. It's like when you climb a mountain peak and then once you arrive at the peak, that you're done with it and you start to climb another peak. And you do it all over again. It's not that. It's not, it's a lifelong journey that we're on. That we never arrive at a certain destination. You don't master. You don't become or you don't master being a better person by checking to-do list. But it's a way of life, a way of being and becoming. Right? So today we are on the third habit. The wellness habit number 3, watch a sunset or sunrise every day. And I want to base and refer to the Gospel of Luke and a little bit from Jeremiah. It's the Gospel of Luke chapter 16 where Jesus tells a parable of dishonest manager and then concludes with a statement. He says, you cannot serve two masters, basically. You cannot serve God and wealth. But the RSV, Revised Standard Version, has a original Greek term, mammon. Have you heard that? Mammon. Right? So it's kind of sort of taking a long route before we get to that habit number 3, watching a sunrise or sunset. So trying to, hopefully that somehow it'll just bridge together. I'll try my best to do that. But I'm taking long route to get there. Now the statement at the end of Luke chapter 16 after parable is you cannot serve God and mammon. It's a very well-known statement. We all know that statement, right? That command, quite well known. But the parable of this dishonest manager is not so well understood or liked parable. In other words, it's quite challenging text. On the outskirts, it seems Jesus is praising the manager for being dishonest, to use the money to gain favor from others. Seems like he's praising this crooked manager and seems like telling his disciples to be as smart as should like him. Okay? So what's going on here? So just looking at this brief paraphrasing the text. So the master, the owner, trusted his estate to a manager to take care. Now, instead of being a good steward, the manager kind of squandered everything, kind of squandering, wasting quite a bit of money on himself, the owner's money, right? And the owner learned about this and called him up and told him to bring an audit book, okay? Audit book. And who owes how much, and before the owner is about to fire him. You're going to get let go, okay, but you bring all this audit. Now, the manager knew that he was going to get fired, so there was no doubt about it. He knew that. So he's kind of worried about his future, right? No job. But, manager is this guy is sort of kind of lazy kind of guy, when you read that. He knew how to waste other people's money, but he didn't want to work. So especially any labor work, it's too hard. Like digging ground, no, too hard. Bagging, no, too shameful. He wouldn't do that. In other words, the guy is not only crooked, but he's also lazy and loser, right? But he is smart. Like streetwise, street smart. He knew how to play the game in the street, in the world, to turn the situation around, to benefit and look after himself. So he devised a plan, a game plan. We call it kind of business plan, but it's really a strategy in how to benefit our interests, to gain favor from the Lord. So he went around to all the people who owed the master a debt and negotiated a deal. How much you owe? $100,000? Well, let me just discount that to $50,000. How do you like that? Changed it. And I think it's not in the text, but I think you could just imagine. He sort of kind of reminded people as debtors, hey, don't forget the favor I did for you. Okay? And on and on. and made friends, so when he's out on the street without job, they will remember what he did for them. Kind of brilliant game plan, right? Business strategy, all to save himself. And the master learned about this later, and he was like, wow, this guy is not only crooked, but he's quite smart. He's shaking his head. Right? Even outsmarting the owner. Now in the parable, we need to understand that the master, the owner, was not praising manager's ethical standard. A code of ethic or behavior commanding his morality. The manager has squandered his master's money. This guy had no moral, right? No ethical standard regarding other people's wealth. For him, money was a tool, a mean to save himself, mean to turn his situation around. He knew how the game is played in the street, how to take advantage of the game to benefit himself. Is he a crooked guy? Of course he is crooked. Do you like him? No. Is he a smart guy? Well, yes. Selfish and smart, street smart when it comes to using money to gain favor from the others, to turn the bad situation around for him. And I dislike guys like this because I know in my own life some guys like that. Have you known some people like that in your own life? Yeah. Smart, but I hate guys like this, right? Wasteful, selfish, and manipulative, and lazy, and crooked, but smart. Now Jesus pointed to this reality, how the people of this world deal with money, using the money to gain their interest, to turn their situation around. How people are smart and shrewd in using money for their advantage, how to play the game to get what they want. And telling his disciples that you guys have something to learn from this. Not their ethical standard or moral practice, not about being dishonest, cheating, or squandering, but using the money to turn the situation around. Not for selfish gain, but for the right cause, for the kingdom of God. Don't be naive about this. Be smart in using the worldly wealth for the cause of God, for the cause of good, for the cause of kingdom of God. And if you are smart in using this worldly wealth, although there's small and very little wealth, you will be smart and be faithful, and God will entrust you with God's wealth. So it's not about teaching. So when you consider it, it's not about teaching about ethics and morality, but it's about our relationship with the worldly wealth. How we use our wealth to gain and advance good, godly cause. It's about stewardship of worldly wealth. How we turn our worldly wealth to gain and advance the gospel. And Jesus tells his disciples to learn from the Lord. Now, churches are not usually really good at dealing with wealth. Not as smart as how people do it on the outside. We have a lot to learn from the business world in how to manage and how to profit the worldly wealth for the cause of God's mission. Church's motto, in money management, is summed up in my own phrase is two. Summed up in one phrase is for maintenance and for the rainy days. For the maintenance and for the rainy days. Can I be a little bit critical about church? You be okay? Yeah. Our denomination, the United Church of Canada, is second wealthy Christian institution in Canada. Did you know that? Next to Catholic Church, we have church properties all around Canada, especially in major cities like Toronto and in Vancouver that would be worth, when we total together, several $billions. Right? Many churches in these cities are holding properties that are worth several $million. While our membership has declined dramatically, And our mission in our neighbors has kind of diminished dramatically as well. But mainly we are maintaining and holding on to kind of funding for rainy days, not knowing that it's raining out there already. You getting what I'm saying, folks? I've heard about this one church, United Church, that has over $1 million for church flower fund. Now, when it comes to relationship with money and wealth in ministry setting, we have what we call fiduciary duty. You know what that means, fiduciary? It's a legal term, a legal obligation of one party to act in the best interest of another. The obligated party is typically a fiduciary, that is someone entrusted with the care of money or property. Fiduciary obligation. Now at church, our fiduciary obligation is ultimately toward what? To God, right? In other words, our fiduciary obligation in the church is for the best interest of our mission and vision. Not for maintenance, not for the best interest of our congregation or best interest of our staff or the best interest of denomination or for the best interest of Flower Farm, but for God's mission in the world, for the vision of our church. Ultimately, we, every one of us in the church, are accountable for and have fiduciary duty in the best interest of God's mission and ministry in the world. What's our mission? What's our mission, folks? Love God and love your neighbors, right? Simple. And another one we should tag on to that is like, make disciples of all people. That's what Jesus said, right? That's our mission. What is our vision? That's a local vision, is what? It's in your bulletin. You should remember it. It's in your bulletin. Engaging our neighbors with the arts and really about building a community without boldness. So how are we doing being a good steward? Managing our wealth for the best interest of our mission and ministry. Use our worldly wealth to gain and advance, to turn the situation around to benefit God's mission and ministry in the world. This crooked manager turned his situation around by using worldly wealth. Is there something we can learn from him in that sense? And that's what Jesus is telling his disciples. For the cause of God's kingdom, you should be able to use your worldly wealth wisely to turn the situation around. But you see, ultimately, it's about who we trust, who we worship, God or money. Revised Standard Version has the original Greek word mammona, which originally comes from Aramaic, the Canaanite language, where mammona means wealth or profit or money or possession or power. Have meant, there's a meaning of an idiom, it says, that which one trusts. Like in money we trust, like in gun we trust, like in wealth we trust, like in power we trust, and like in, as opposed to in God we trust. Jesus said, you cannot serve two masters, you cannot serve God and mammon. Another way of saying is that you cannot worship two masters, you cannot worship God and money. It's about our trust factor, to whom we put our ultimate trust. It's about who our master is, God or mammon. It's about who we worship. Do we worship God or do we worship mammon? It's about our heart factor, where our heart lies. You see, mammon, like money, wealth, or possession or power in itself does not have any inherent value in itself. It's our trust in mammon, in wealth, in money, in power, to advance our cause. If we believe that mammon or wealth or success or power or any of these are ultimate means and ends for our existence, our well-being, then they have become our master. We have become servants of mammon, slaving all our life to seek and pursue and accumulate more mammon, more power, more possession. The ultimate obsession, the ultimate mammon becomes the ultimate obsession, ultimate object of our worship, our God. And it's very interesting to note that the original Aramaic word mammona refers also to a Syrian god, god of wealth. And we all know what the result of worshiping mammon, and mammon becomes the center of our obsession, the ultimate object of our worship, the ultimate means and ends for our well-being, the consequences are tragic. And kind of loosely related to Jeremiah verses today, chapter 8, he speaks, there is chapter verse 18 onward, he's really grieving over the destruction of Jerusalem, destruction of Israel due to their idolatries. But at the beginning, verses 1 to 3, we read the devastating consequences of the people of Israel who have chased, sought, and putting their ultimate trust in mammon, worshiping mammon instead of worshiping God. That's what he says. They shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets. Even the bones of the wicked who died before the Babylonians came would be disgraced. They would not be gathered nor buried. They shall be like refuse of the face of the earth. Did you know that the custom of raising the bodies of the dead and scattering their bones about, which seemed to be quite general, it was the highest expression of hatred and contempt. That's what got consequences of their idolatry, chasing after mammon. So let's just try to wrap it up kind of sort of together. Life is more than a series of accomplishment accumulation. But often we reduce our life and our worth as a person into a list of what we have done or not have done and what we have accumulated or not. And our frame of reference and the goal in life are reduced into a narrow band with achieving success and accumulating mammon. So we lose the sight of what really matters in life. Instead of seeking meaning in life, we resolve to pursue happiness, deceiving ourselves into believing that success and mammon would lead us into the life of bliss. And then we have seen the tragic consequences of that in our own lives. A way to personal well-being and wholeness requires us to broaden our vision from narrow and tunnel vision to a broader and panoramic vision. We need to start looking up, looking into the far horizon, start watching sunrise in the morning or sunset in the evening. Immersing ourselves, reclaiming beauty all around us, beholding the beauty of creation around us will sort of lead us towards the truth and goodness of God. And watching sunrise or sunset will help us from a life of greed and hoarding into a life of well-being and wholeness. It's more like an antidote to greed and hoarding. So I watch sunset every day. And I'm not alone. Right? There are a whole bunch of people there doing the same thing. Many people watching sunset at the beach and sitting 2x2 or individually or by group. And the sun is just gone over the horizon. We get this reddish yellow sky, radiating the entire western sky with a beautiful mystical color, and people just sit there and just watch the sunset until the sky gets dark. We just watch the sunset in silence, beholding the beauty of sunset. So a few weeks ago, a month ago, I was asked by a person who was taking a kind of sort of a survey from the people who come to the beach, and she was asking, what attracted you to this place? Do you come here every day? So I said, almost every day. What attracted you? And I said, without any hesitation, well, sunset. Why? Well, because it's wow. What else can I say? It's wow. maybe you get this sense of wow when you are walking your favorite path, or listening to a beautiful music, or immersing yourself in a beautiful painting, or when you are playing with children. This sacred connection. Whatever that is, you need to visit the place as often as possible on a daily basis. For me, it's sunset. It just helps me to attach and anchor myself to something bigger than me. Right? Something bigger than my money, my health, my life, my career, my wealth, and my greed to become successful. When I watch sunset, I forget about my career. I forget about my worry for what to eat, what to clothe, what to wear, how I look, how I will be tomorrow. My plumbing issues in my house, I forget all of these things. Right? And when I come out of it, I get this broader perspective in everything. And it almost feels like you've been changed. I get more gentler, and it just seems to anchor, keeps me sane, holds me in balance, is deep, is clear. Behold the beauty of God. Don't forget to watch sunrise or sunset every day.